Thank you for joining me again today, guys. It's another work day. Today, we're about to install those trim that we talked about in the previous video. We've picked up a few subscribers along the way, and we are sure appreciated that y'all decide to join us. Thank you for subscribing. We're not going to make this intro too long because the video by itself is long enough. All right. So we appreciate you joining us. And as always, sit back, relax, and just watch me work. And any comment will be appreciated down below. And always like and subscribe. So let's get to it. Once again, this is the project for today. We're going to get rid of that piece of granite. And we're going to case this window in all the way around and give it a more modern look. All right, so stay tuned. Okay, first thing first, this is the board. If you was with us in the beginning of this video, you will see where I went to Lowe's and purchased this board. Here's the main part that you need to look at. This edge is what you're looking for to have this edge, because this edge is what gives it that mold look when you install it. All right, so that's what you're gonna look for in Lowe's. Remember, nobody's have this board unless you go to one of those millwork shops somewhere in your neighborhood. You might find it, but I looked in Home Depot and everywhere else and I couldn't find it. Only place I found it was at Lowe's. So this is a piece that we did earlier, and this is from our laundry room window. This is the piece that we're working with today. This is an 8-foot piece. It's called a window sill, and we're gonna be using that today. Second, you're gonna need, and we have a video of how you can get one of these saw rendered from Home Depot. And I'm coming over here to my table. There's some of the other stuff that you might need for this project. A speed square pencil, I got some brad nail, 18 gauge for my nail gun. So now don't go buy nails until you know which gun you're renting from your rental store, okay? Because they all take different nails. All the guns take different nails. So make sure you know what kind of gun you're using before you go buy nails. I have a clamp, I have my level, I have my caulking gun. You're gonna need that. Of course, you have the strength for holes, just to putty all the nail holes, pencil, and you're always going to need a hammer. Very rarely you can do a demo work without a hammer. So add that to your list. You need a hammer to do this project. Hope y'all can hear me really good. Got a new microphone. I want to make sure it's working. So testing it out just to make sure I'm working without saying and teaching folks and showing them what I'm doing, and then you can't hear me. So here we go. Hammer. The main tool that you need to have doing this part of it here is your safety glasses, because there's a lot of gravel that's going to be flying everywhere when you're trying to break this granite. And when you're trying to break this little bit of concrete that's sitting on top of it here, like, let me tell you something. There's a percentage that if you have a bottle in your hand, and you can probably throw the bottle on the ground, and there's a percentage where it wouldn't break. Now, if you have that same bottle in your hand, and you don't want the bottle to break and it fall out your hand, there's another percentage that I guarantee you that it's going to break. Now, that's the same thing with this granite here. The fact that we're trying to break it, man, that's something hard as hell. But if you didn't want to break it, now you just actually drop your hammer on it. That's like a shot it into pieces. Course, if you're doing this over carpet, you want to put your drop cloth down, because you got some pretty sharp little piece of the granite that would chip off into the carpet. And if you have young kids and, whatever, you don't want them to actually get injured by any of this little sharp granite or concrete or anything that flies in shipping. So please put a drop cloth down, and then you can remove the entire thing and carry out all the pieces on it. What we're gonna do, we're gonna cut it from here. And here's a little trick, guys. If you're working by yourself, and like most of the jobs I do by myself. And sometimes you gotta stretch your tape out, and it start doing all of this stuff or whatever. And you don't have a helper to work with you and help you hold the tape. What you do is try not to take the whole thing on. Just go with some numbers. Like if you go from one end, just find like an even number. And you're just gonna mark an even number on the pallet or something next to you. So for example, we're gonna mark this over here at 40. Okay, so we know from right here to right here is 40. So what we're gonna do is we just go the opposite way and just go back from this side, and then we just go back to 40 and see where we at. You got me? So here we at the mark that we put down. We're at 31 3/4. There, we got a little bit of rise in it, so we have, just call it 32, because we have a little, raising it up like that kind of take away from it. So just say we're at 32, and if you do 32 plus 40, you're at 72. So that's the 72 we're looking for. And now we're gonna go 3 inches out on our tape, just to make sure for the overhang, for the trim to sit on it, we're gonna go 3 inches out. Okay, so that'll be at 3 inches out there. And we're going 3 inches from this mark out, which would be another one. So we're gonna go from the mark to the 40. We should have 43 from that mark. And we're gonna go from this mark here, from the same mark to the same 40 that we put down on the thing. And right here, and right here we have 35. We're thinking that we have it done the right thing. We're gonna mark off our 75 here, which is 3 inches from the end. And I got it down here marked. So in total, from end to the pencil mark should be 78. If it ain't 78, folks, it ain't right. And don't be afraid to go over just like an 1/8 of an inch or a 16, just to give you some wiggle room, because this piece on the end, you don't need it for nothing else. I mean, it's worthless. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut this. We have just a little bit of, we have an 1/8 of an inch left over, just in case something didn't work out. We're gonna go back inside and we're gonna measure one more time, and we're gonna come back out and we're gonna cut it. Just let me make sure. One more time, just to make sure, because like I said, guys, we're only gonna cut it one time. So here's our number here. We had 43. 43. And we're gonna come from this angle here, from the pencil mark, which is 3 inches out. So we're gonna hit that number here. And we have 35. So we have 35 and 43, that's 8, that's 78. So we're good to go. So now we can cut. We need 78 inches from end to end, not from the insert. The insert is 72 inches. The outside from end to end, from the pencil mark, which is 3 inches from the edge. And this one is also 3 inches from this edge going this way, which is the overhang, which is what your trim is gonna sit on. So if you add all of that up, 72 plus 6 is 78. So we're gonna cut this trim now at 78. So if you ever hear the old tale, I mean, every carpenter knows this. You measure twice and cut once. Reason why you only cut once, because once you cut the sucker, it's cut. We're just gonna find the line that we on, and we're just gonna cut it. And make sure, remember folks, you're cutting the outside line, not the inside line. this is just a wasted piece. All right, so the overhang on the outside edge here, the outside edge, we want to go up 4 inches. Okay, so 4 inches on both sides. That's the piece that's going to stick out in the front. You're going to sit your window trim on. Okay, so we just use 4. That's a standard number. We're going to take our speed square and just mark it off because we're going to use our saw to cut it. And we pretty much want to stay in line. Okay, we don't want for it to be moving all over. So we just use our speed square to just give you a nice line to work with. And if you don't know, if you're a novice of what we're doing, the piece that's coming out is right here. This piece is actually coming out because this doesn't go anywhere. It just comes out. And then the other piece will sit, the window sill will sit on top of that. So now that we got that, here's where the clamp come in. Like I said, if you're working by yourself, these things are a good thing to have because it helps you hold things in place. Okay, so we just kind of like clamp it down, find a ways to clamp it so it doesn't move. All right, so we're gonna use our jigsaw to cut this little piece out. And please cut outside the line. Do not cut inside the line. It's better if it's too long than too short. That means when you finish cutting, you can still see the pencil mark. All right, so that's one. Hopefully y'all can see it. If not, I'll show it to you when I'm done. Here. So that's what it looked like. And you can still see a pencil mark on the outside edge because at least if it's too long, you can trim it a little bit. But if it's too short, you just kind of like, well, it's not that bad. You can stick it with caulk, but you just want to get as professional as you can. Here is another way that you can actually cut this board without using a jigsaw, because I know a bunch of folks doesn't have a jigsaw in their tool shed. There's no point in having one if you don't do this for a living. But if you're just like a regular weekend warrior or somebody who just like doing projects around the house, I'm pretty sure you would have a saw, a band saw, we call this one. This one is just a regular hand saw. No tricks to this one, just require elbow grease. And I'm gonna show you that you can cut the same piece. So you see, you get the same result with the hand saw as the jigsaw. That's why the professionals seems like they get a lot of these jobs done a lot easier and faster because they have the proper tools to do it. You know, you're using a hand saw, you're just going to use a lot of muscle and strength, and you know, when you can just have the proper tools to get it done. But anyway, it can be done with the hand. So that's what you're looking for, just to get that cut. Because on the outside edge, this edge, which is the 3-inch edge, the window trim is going to sit on that. So that's the piece now that we're going to work with, and we're going to take it inside and make sure it fits. Okay, at this point, I got my measurement, and I'm just using my test piece just to make sure that everything is level. Okay. We made it inside. So this piece is coming here, and just like that, we want it to be just like that. So here's what we have. So it looks sort of like that. That's what this is for, the oscillating saw. Now this makes a lot of dust, a lot of noise, and a lot of dirt. So you probably want to grab a, let me show you, because it makes a lot of dust. Okay, I can't find my dust mask, but like I said, make do. know we have the 90 degree. Let's look at our level. This is what we're trying to create. Look at that water. See the water right there? Nice and level. So that's what you want right there. And now we nail it down. Make sure we got our nail in. Our brad nails are in, and we're gonna go to work now, okay? So we just did it. And it's gonna stay there. It's not gonna move again. Just drive us some nails down to 2x4. So I'm gonna do about 12 minutes. Nice and level. Don't worry about underneath here. That's what the bottom trim is for. We don't need to do any more tapping. We want to make sure that our water level, I mean, for people out there who don't know what I'm looking at, we're looking right here to make sure this water is in between those two lines right here and right there. And that tells you that it's level. Okay, so good. Our T-square with our speed square, make sure our 90 degrees is set behind, I don't know if you can see that, but it should sit flat on the windowsill and then flat up against the bottom section of the window, because that creates a 90 degree, just like that. Can you see that? I don't know how else to do it. So, but anyway. All right, so now we're gonna do the trim. We're gonna create a 1/4 inch going all the way around. Okay, so you can either judge a 1/4 inch or you can mark off a 1/4 inch. Either way, it's fine with me, whichever way you do it. Everybody got their own little system. They got a jig that you can use for it. But you just want to mark off a 1/4 inch around all 4 corners or all 3 corners. Just a basic, nothing major. This is not nothing that you have to do. But you want to keep it consistent so we have the same, you have the same little 1/4 inch going all the way around. We're going to cut our first piece. Our first piece to be, we probably can just go, we're going to have to offset both of them. So over here I'm going to steal 1/8 of an inch. So we're gonna go with 48 over this side. So we're in the shop. We're gonna find us a piece of trim. And here's one of the trim that we bought. This is $1. Taking the nails out of it and repaint. So we got our crescent wrench, and we just kind of pull the nails out. And make sure you throw the nails away so you don't come back and step on them. All right, so we got this here piece cut. So since we already have a 45 on this side here, folks, this is already cut in a 45. This would normally be the right side. We didn't measure the right side. I think we did. I think it was 48. Let me go do a quick measurement of the right side, just because this is already cut. All right, so we're gonna cut it 48 1/4 from the bottom edge. Don't forget, it's the bottom edge that we actually measure it. That's what goes up to that angle. So 48 1/4. And I need to find my pencil. Okay, anybody want to donate a tool bag to the cause? Be more than welcome. Actually, I'll mark it and then I'll show it to you how where the 48 actually stopped, because the people out there want to see. I forgot that I'm showing audience that actually have no idea even how to read a tape. So we're gonna do 48 and I think it's 1/4. So 48 1/4. Start off at the bottom, and we're going all the way down to where it says 48. And you see the 1/4 underneath. Oh, I gotta move. 48 1/4. Can you see where that mark is? 48, and then there's a 1/4 on the tape measure right there. Make sure our saw is set at 0. I mean, you're cutting a straight cut, and we find our line, or you can make it a little bit easier to see your line. Okay, pencil again. I taking the speed square to make your line a little bit longer, like that. Folks out there buying just like me. Alright, so, and when we're cutting, folks, remember we want to see the entire line. We don't want to cut the line off because you can always trim it back, but you can't add none to it. Alright? So if you look at my cut, you'll still see the pencil mark right there. Because you can shave that little bit off if it turns out it's too long. But if it's too short, not good. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna cut off any excess caulking on it. We're gonna remove all the nails out of it. Alright, so we're doing this one now, 48 even, this side. This was the original one that we were doing. And like I said, you can stand it up, depends on the saw that you have. And make sure when you cut it, you can still see the line, because if you're a little bit short, you can work it in. And then if you're a little bit long, you can shape it. Alright, so we're good. So now, this is the left side, and we have the right side already cut. Shorten it up just a tad. Because if you look at the tape, at the great. I was actually inside, so I forgot the camera wasn't with me. I'm sorry, folks. But anyway, because of that line right there, now we can take that line off because it's too much. So I thought y'all was in there watching what I was doing, but evidently I left the camera in the garage. So we're gonna take this bit off of here. Get it down to where we need it, like so. Oh, look at that, that's better. It's great, right there. Man, that was a perfect tap. Now that we are actually done with these two pieces, there's two ways you can measure this, okay? There's two ways you can measure for the top piece. You can just go from end to end, which is an easy way. Contractors or folks who do this for a living can go from angle to angle. You know, we just go from end to end, which is the top would be the same as to make sure everything is even. It's 77 inches. And all you're going to do is cut the next piece 77 inches. Actually, what I'm going to do is the piece that I got this morning, the old scruffy looking piece, which is this one, you can see it by looking back on the tape. This is the piece that I got this morning from that store I went to this morning, the Habitat for Humanity. So this edge is not as sharp as it needs to be, so we're gonna cut another edge just to make sure this is nice and sharp. So instead of the edge that it came with, we're just gonna make another edge, and we're gonna cut another 45. Alright, so it can be nice and sharp and meet up with the other edge. Alright, so we're gonna go 77 inches. Hopefully we didn't cut off too much. All right. 30, 60, 70. Where's the pencil? Everybody see my pencil? Take a look at it. See what we get. Okay. Let's get it up. Right there. And we're right there. side, but I can't see that side. Let's see what we got over here. We need to go off just a little, just a tad. So remember, folks, we don't ever hit the trim. Hit the, just a little bit. Just like that, just tap it. And never hit the trim itself. Okay, so there's your angle, and this nail just pop back out right here. And what we're gonna do, can you see that nail that popped back out? We will get rid of that with a nail cutter. But this is what we have. It's nice and tight, nice and good. This one here is the same. Nice and tight, nice and good. And to show you what our level look like, because we have to offset, you can look at the water in between the lines here, and you will see that it's nice and level. And down here is the same thing. Look at the water in between the lines right here. It's nice and level. So now we're good. All right, so now we'll do the bottom piece. We're going 77 at the bottom to make sure. And it is 77. There's your pencil. Man, I found my pencil the first go. That is amazing. Raquel, if you're watching this video, girl, man, this garage could use your help. We got stuff everywhere. She's a packer. She was packed from now dusk till dawn, just putting everything in order. Jesus. That's my big daughter there. Lord knows she didn't get that from me. I don't know where she got that from. That's probably being in the military. So, but anyway, she's knee deep right now studying. Pass her state board for her nurses final exam. So she already made us all proud. So you know, regardless of when she passes, when you take it, that'll be fine. She'll be good. She'll do good. All right, so now we're going 77. All right, folks. I record the entire bottom piece with the camera off. Learning as I go this camera and YouTube thing. But anyway, folks, looking back at it, it is in. It's trimmed out. And we're now on to the next step, which is the caulking. All right, and if I haven't learned anything else from my brother, I learned this part of it. This part of the job I learned directly from my brother. Fool, thank you. Hope all is well, brother. But anyway, I learned this part from Mr. Fool. Mr. Fool says, the faster you can get this stuff caulked, the better you'll be. Because the customer doesn't understand. They see any little cracks and they start asking questions. So what I always do, as soon as I get to do what I'm doing, I take it up on myself, get the caulking done. So this is the this is what it looks like once it's caulked and putted. Tomorrow, look at the old ugly up top. So now y'all know where this piece came from. Right out of the Habitat for Humanity. So y'all can see it right there. That's it. So it's gonna be the come on. Gosh. Anyway, it's gonna be the crown jewel. It's sitting up top. See, it matches all the rest of these molding. You can see the difference with it up there. Don't worry about all those little bumps and bruises. So when it dried up tomorrow, it'll be nicely painted, and you won't be able to tell what piece came from where. Trust me on that. Here's the bottom piece. That's what it looked like. Side mold. So now, y'all would know how to do y'all molding, you know. And y'all don't have to call a contractor to come out and do it for you. Here's what we're using, the same alky urethane enamel that we're using on the outside. This is good for interior and exterior. It's the same Bare Premium semi-gloss. Get the first coat on it. We're gonna let this dry up. Remember that top piece that I told you about was the bottom of the pile, and that was the cream of the crop. That's the best piece in here. Look how nice and pretty that look. Now it's the cream of the crop. So, but anyway, this is it. And like I said, once the sun go down a little bit, we're gonna pop this blind out here. We're gonna get another coat on it. And then we're gonna put the new blind in and show you the final product for these two windows. So stay tuned. All right, so here is the finished product. Now you tell me what you think. This is 1,000 times better. It's more up to date, it's clean. So just tell me what you think. And it was a pleasure doing what I did today, knowing that there's somebody out there who would probably try this and look back at this video for some kind of guidance. You saw where we got the product from, the material from, Habitat for Humanity. We have a link somewhere in the video of how you can rent these tools to use to do the job. You know, it's nothing hard. I'll give this probably about maybe a 6 out of 10, maybe, because of the precision cuts that you have to make. The demo on the window, that's a little groovy right there, but I think anybody can tackle this little task as a weekend project. And I mean, you can just say, I'll do 2 or 3 windows a day. It doesn't take long. Once you get past the renovation, it's pretty simple after that. Just follow the steps. Hopefully I was of some help.